Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. I wanted to do a session tonight of how we feel when others have an opinion. And this goes for everything in life, but I'm focusing on those of us that have been through abuse and have trauma stored in our body and brains. That trauma doesn't go anywhere, it stays with us, but we have to learn tools in order to deal with it. And those tools are key to our success rate and how we feel and how we heal through the process of dealing with our abuse. So I want to share with you what I've dealt with. And it's not easy because, I came forward very publicly in the news, with CTV News, with different newspapers about my abuse because I felt that it was necessary to share my experience because I know so many other women and men go through what I have gone through, whether they're with a police officer or whether it's been with someone else of authority or just a person who feels that they have this overwhelming personality that must control you at all times. It's something that we don't talk enough about. We can hide and say, yes, something happened to me, but I don't want to talk about it. And a lot of times in the past, that has been the case. People just don't want to talk about their abuse. It's embarrassing. And for heaven's sakes, I was embarrassed too. I was afraid to come forward. I was embarrassed of what I was going through, and I tried to hide it, and I lied about it. I lied about it at work, limping. I wanted to protect my abuser at points in my relationship because I was so afraid. So I understand that. But for me, I had enough of hiding it. 23 years of trying to do what my abuser told me I had to do and protect him was enough for me. And I felt that it was necessary because being on the other side, I felt like I had nobody to share this with. I felt like nobody would believe me. I felt like I was alone. And I was fighting this battle of surviving every day on my own. And for me, I don't want anyone else to feel that way. I want it to be public so that other people realize that they're not alone in feeling these feelings and that there is help out there. That to me is the most important thing about my whole situation. And if I can share my story and educate others, then I've done my job. My situation was worth living through, not only for my life, my son's life, but to help others. If we can't learn from an experience, then really it didn't serve us much purpose. So that's the mindset that I have about my situation. So people, after I came out and told everybody what had happened, people had their opinions. Oh, I'd like to hear his story, I heard. And I thought, for goodness sakes, this monster who abused me already pled guilty to these charges, and you need to hear his story? Like, you're not believing what I have to say is truthful, even though the courts did? It blew my mind. I thought, oh my goodness, like some people just don't have the proper understanding of what abuse truly is and what trauma truly is. And you know what? Thank goodness you don't, because that means you haven't experienced it to that degree yourself. So you don't understand. And that's a good thing, because nobody deserves to go through what I went through and what other people are going through in their abusive situations. We didn't choose to go through it. It was forced on us. And in that in my situation, that is why, my abuser broke the law and pled guilty, and he suffered the consequences through the Canadian court system. So that was one example. There's so many others. People have their own opinions. Like, I don't know how many times I've heard, well, why didn't you just tell somebody? Why didn't you just end the relationship when he first hit you? It's not that easy, and people don't understand that. And it's, unless you've been in the situation and you've been controlled by somebody and you're dealing with abuse, you just don't understand the control someone has over you and the fear you have for your life because of that control. It's so difficult to explain it simply because when you're in that moment, you have so many feelings about what you're dealing with that you have a hard time expressing them after the fact. And that's because you're in survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, you kind of tune everything that's really severe out and focus on living. Focus on, okay, what do I need to do to protect myself, to protect my family? Whether that be, okay, just keep calm and cool. Don't argue back. Don't yell back. Just keep calm and cool. Make sure that you've got everything, all the uniform out, the socks out, underwear, all of that out, because if you don't have it out, you know that it's going to cause a problem. Make sure that, everything is clean in the house, the dishes are put away, because if you don't, that is going to cause a problem. Make sure that you have the garbage out, because if he comes home and it's not out, that's going to cause a problem. You always have to think 10 steps ahead to avoid being harmed. There's so many things, that a survivor had to do in order to survive. And their body and brain kept them in survival mode in order to live. So it's really difficult to explain that to somebody, because when you haven't been through it yourself, it doesn't make sense. And it doesn't have to make sense. But at the same time, you don't have to have an opinion on it and share that with somebody that's been traumatized if it doesn't serve a purpose. So a lot of people don't think before they speak, they just speak. And when they speak, it can be harmful. It can be a triggering moment, because as a victim of abuse, you have trauma stored in your body, and it makes you think and second guess of everything that you've done. So when somebody came to me, and it's happened multiple times, and they tell me, why didn't you just get over it? Like, it's happened a long time ago, just get over it. Why didn't you leave sooner? All of these comments make me think, well, what's wrong with me? Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe it was my fault. Why didn't I leave sooner? And it wasn't until I had multiple sessions with my therapist when I realized, well, wait a second, this is not my fault. This is not my problem. That's everyone else that has the opinions problem. They didn't live the hell that I lived in. They don't understand it. So when you get to a point where people's opinions start to become a thought in your head, like you've done something wrong, you need to stop and take a deep breath. And you need to tell yourself, they don't matter. What matters is you. You survived. You got yourself out of the situation. You walked through hell for days to make sure you would live after you ended the relationship. People don't understand how difficult that is, and how many people in this world that are in our situation do not survive after ending the relationship, because it becomes so violent. People who are abusers, a switch goes off and they become a different person, somebody that you and the outside world, family and friends don't know. And that switch makes them do things that are uncontrollable in that moment. And I say that because it's happened to me. The eyes change, the voice changes, and then you're being abused. And then it's not until something or someone says something or a noise to startle them, to scare them, thinking, oh my gosh, now I'm going to get in trouble for this. I better stop doing what I'm doing. That their eyes, they snap out of it. Their eyes change, they let go, they leave. When that happens, you're safe. But that doesn't always happen in every situation. Sometimes your abuser stays in that mode where they've become this monster and they continue attacking until the other person is no longer with us. It happens a lot. It's not talked about. It's something that's taboo. It's like, well, abuse is embarrassing. Well, you know what? Hell yeah, it's embarrassing. I was embarrassed. I was afraid to come forward. I protected my abuser. I lied. I said that I was limping at work because I was working out when that wasn't the truth. I did what I had to do in order to survive. I am a survivor. That's something that I can say that I'm proud of because I have my life, my son has his life. You might be starting out walking through your hell, but you're getting steps forward through that walk of hell. You are walking it. You are going forward. You're not looking back. And yes, some of us have a longer path than others, but you're doing it. And that's something to be proud about. Don't listen to what other people say. Their opinions don't matter. You're doing it. You're doing what's right for you in that moment. And that's all that matters. Be proud of who you are and how strong you are and just how far you've gotten in life. Because I'm telling you right now, there is nobody, no one stronger than you. Only you made this happen. Take it in stride. Understand that it's okay if we fall 2 steps back, as long as we keep looking forward. You will make it, you will survive, and you're not alone. One thing I can stress is that is the message I wanted to make loud and clear to everyone who is in a relationship that's abusive or who has been through something that has caused them trauma. You're not alone. You're never alone. I felt alone. I felt scared. I felt like I couldn't tell anybody. I suffered because I didn't know what to do and I didn't know who to reach out to. And I am letting you know that you can reach out to me. You can talk to me. I know what it's like. I felt it. All of the emotions. I've walked through the hell. I have dealt with all of the trauma and I'm still dealing with it. But I can tell you I have learned and earned the tools to make myself better. And those tools I can share with you and help you through your deepest, darkest moments. You're not alone. Thank you and have a great night. Stay safe.